Good evening, everyone. Glad you could join me for this evening. If you are new, please put your email in the chat. Please put your email in the chat. And I don't know why I keep losing my toolbar tonight. How you doing, Nikita? Did you see my email?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Did you see my email for the one-to-one?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so now once you put that in, I'll be able to approve it.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is,
I
oops, I
put
don't
it
even
in
have,
already.
okay, I don't even have my video on. There we go. Oops, can't be my job. Stop. Turn it off. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about that. I apologize. This is what I'm looking for right there. There we go. Now I can turn my video back on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I can't have my job in the background. I'll teach at Temple University, so I don't want to have that on there. Okay, so yeah, make sure you schedule. I'll approve that one-on-one. We'll do it. You scheduled in December, you said, correct?
Yes.
Now I had about 9 people scheduled for their one-on-one. So Patrick, Darlene. So two messages I want to give to you. First of all, Darlene, in New York, they are canceling the task.
Okay.
They don't know which test they're going to go to.
Okay.
So you might want to contact them, because if you haven't started testing in the other subject areas, you might want to wait till after the new year. If you've taken the other exams and you only got math left, then that means we need to hurry up and get that last test done before, the end of the year. So you try to contact somebody at TASK to verify that information. But one of my other students said they were canceling the task in New York, so they were urging everybody to finish that exam before December.
So which one is harder?
Well, they don't even know which one they're switching to. So even though they said the task, they're ending using the task, they don't know whether they're going to use HiSET or GED. They haven't even made a determination yet, which is crazy. So I just wanted to tell you that, Patrick, I know you want to test soon also. I've had about 7 to 9 people schedule one-on-one. So that schedule has been a little bit hectic. So make sure you use that reservation to get your reservation in. Also, you, Gary, stay. Okay, and Gary, stay on after class so we can schedule your one-on-one so we can get that straightened out. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So let's start. Everybody again. Somebody is digital. Who was that speaking? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go over. Let me share. I think I have the screen shared already. So let me close that up first. And the first thing I wanted to go over, does anybody have any problems that they had during this week that they want to make sure that they know how to do on the exam? Anything they've been working on. So that's what Patrick was doing when everybody came in. He checked in a little early. He was going over some problems he had some issues with.
What I was doing, what's that thing again? Oh shoot. When you have there's an X and a Y where you have to find you put any numbers for the X, how to find the Y. I forgot the name.
Oh, you mean
the Y to go and graph it?
Okay, so right, you can graph it that way. So what she means is this, for example, there are different ways that you can graph. Let me see if I got something open real quick to show a graph. A blank graph sheet. I do not. Let me see. Let me see if I got an open graph. See all the work I do. You know what? I think I got. Let me see if any of these open. If I have to make up one, that'll be all right. So what happens is anytime you have an equation, for example, it's very easy. So, for example, if I had an equation y equal 2x plus 3, okay, the way I've been telling you to graph it is define the slope. This is in slope-intercept form. right? And then you can just say the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 3. Now, another way you can do it is if you substitute numbers in there. So if I got x and y, if I say x is 0, that means you're substituting x into this equation here. So you got 2 times 0 plus 3. Well, anything times 0 was 0 plus 3. So that means y is 3. So your first point would be 0, 3. If x was 1, again, all you're doing is substituting that 1 as x. So 2 times 1 plus 3, which is 5. So your 2 points that you could graph this with would be 0, 3 and 1, 5. So that's another way that you can graph if you wasn't sure. You could substitute numbers in. So one of the questions a lot of people ask me is, how do you know what numbers to plug in? Well, first of all, always put 0 in, because that's your y-intercept right away. If you just put 0, you're gonna get your 0, 3. So always put 0 in. And then this is what you do. You do a multiple of the denominator. So if it's not a whole number, for example, y equal 1/2 x plus 4. So what 2 x's I would use was be 0 and 2, a multiple of the denominator. Why? Because that will cancel out. So when you multiply 1/2 times 2, those 2's will cancel. And then you get 1 plus 4, which is 5. And then you got your 2 points. So what I would do is if you have any type of fraction, the first x I would use would be 0. And then the second x I would use will be any multiple of the denominator. So it comes out to a whole number. Everybody understand that? Now that's for the task and the high set. You don't really have to do that for the GD. That's for the task and high set.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Now, I wanted to go over a couple of questions that I've been looking at people's practice tests. A lot of people been taking the practice test this week. So, and a lot of people been scheduling their one-on-one. So a lot of people must be getting ready to take their test, because I saw a lot of scores. And a lot of people had some of the easiest problems incorrect. So I want to make sure we know how to solve the problem. Now, I hope the person doesn't recognize that this is their exam, because I don't think any names on here. Let's see. Let me see. And matter of fact, Patrick, you just asked, why is it not zooming? There we go. Okay, I wanted to make it nice and big. Okay. Oh my goodness, my computer's a little bit behind. Okay, the area of a triangle is given as 35 square centimeters. If the height is 7 centimeters, what is the length of the base of the triangle? And what most people have been doing, out of the 9 people that answered this question this week, 7 people got it wrong. So I want to make sure everybody understands the steps, how you solve a problem like this. Most of the people have been answering 5. Most of the people have answered 5. So first of all, what I want you to do is ascertain what they're giving you first. So first they get, say that again.
Yeah.
So the first thing that they give you is that the area of a triangle is 35 square centimeters. So immediately, this is what tells you what formula you're going to use from your formula sheet. Again, remember, when you're practicing for this math exam, you need to have that formula sheet. You need to know it, how to use it, and that calculator and some scrap paper. So the area of a triangle is 35 square meters. What else do we know? We also know that the height is 7. They want to know the length of the base. So the first thing you're going to go to that formula sheet. Does anybody know the formula to find the area of a triangle?
A equal half base height.
Area equal 1/2 base times height. Who said that?
Keisha.
Lakeisha, right on the money. I love it. So now the next step is just to substitute what we know. So for example, 35, because that's the area of a triangle. So instead of A, we're going to put 35. We're going to bring down a half. We don't know the base, but we do know the height. So 7 times H. Does everybody understand what I did? All I did was substitute what they're giving us, right? So now 35 equal, what's 1/2 of 7?
0.5, I think.
3.5. Perfect.
3.5.
So now, how do I solve for H? How do I get H by itself?
You divide 3.5.
Divide by 3.5. And whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. The 3.5s cancel. I'm gonna have to move down here. H is equal to 35 divided by 3.5. If you don't know that answer is 10, then you just throw it in your calculator. But that's how you get it. H is 10. This is an easy problem. And 7 out of 9 people got this problem wrong this week. It's an easy problem. The next thing I want you to understand is this. This is the second thing I need you. Hold on, let me save this first. Let me save it. Hold on. And I need you to understand this. Okay, my test is harder than a real GED exam. Why? Because I use a lot of fill-ins. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of multiple choice. Okay, well, I do have a lot of multiple choice, but I have a lot of fill-ins too. But say, for example, and again, this is very important for you to understand. Say if I had A is 5, B is 30, C is 10, and D is 12. Okay, so say this was my multiple choice. Well, you know the area is 35. So again, get your formula from your formula sheet. And what you know is 1/2 times the base, whatever the base is, times 7 has to be equal to 35. So guess what you can do? Just use your calculator until you get the right answer. So 1/2 times 7 times the height. So, times the base. Since we don't know the base, we're going to use our multiple choice. So the first multiple choice is 5. We put that in. Did I get 35?
No.
No. So you go back up into your formula, change it to the next multiple choice, 30. Did we get 35?
No.
No. And then go to the go to the next one, change that 30 to 10. Did we get 35?
Yes.
Listen, that's no algebra. That's no work to do. That's no work to do. So that's one of the things you remember when you get multiple choice, one of those choices is your answers. So sometimes just grab that formula from your formula sheet and substitute that value in until you get the answer you're looking for. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me save that. Now, another one I was surprised a lot of people were getting wrong. Let me find it first. Let me find it. Hold on. And I was very surprised. I was very surprised, but that's okay. This is the place where you make your mistakes. This is the place where you make your mistakes because we can fix them. Where I don't want you making those mistakes is on your exam. And why can't I find it? Here it is right here. Okay, boom. Oops, that's not the one I wanted to grab. Grab the wrong one. Where did you go? Is that it right there? No, that wasn't it. I just lost it that quick. Let me see. I just lost. There we go. There we go, right there. Please place the following in numbers in order. Okay. Putting fraction, decimal, percentages order is very important for you to know. You must know the fraction, decimal equivalents. That's what I would recommend. Know all your fraction, decimal equivalents. Now, if you don't know, use your calculator. So for example, what I would do if I'm solving this problem, and this is where a lot of people made their mistake. A lot of people, I think 7 or 8 out of 9 people got this wrong. This is one of the easiest problems on your exam. Okay, first of all, convert them all to decimals. Okay, it's easy to convert to a decimal. Just use your calculator. So if I want a fraction, what does this line between the fraction of a fraction mean? What's that line mean with operation?
Division.
Division. So you can either do 3 divided by 8, or you can just put it in as you see it, hitting ND, and then hit your double arrows. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can turn a fraction into a decimal. So this is 0.375. This is already a decimal. This is already a decimal. And then how do you change 73% to a decimal? Anybody know?
You move it 2 spaces to the left.
2 spaces to the left. So 1, 2. So 73% is 0.73. Now, the next step, in order for you to compare decimals, is the easiest way is to make sure they have the same amount of decimal places. So if you look at these 4 numbers, there's one that has 3 decimal places. Does everybody see that? So what we're
Yes.
going to do is we're going to make sure actually 2 of them have 3 decimals. So in order to do this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure all of them have 3 decimals. So what we're going to do is we're going to add zeros at the end until you have 3 decimal places. So here I'm going to add 1 decimal. Here I'm going to add 1 decimal. So now it's very easy. You can ignore the decimals. Now just look at them as regular numbers. So 3 would be first. Then 130 would be next. Then 375 would be third. And 730 will be fourth. Now you just move these in the order. So 0.003 will be first. 0.13 will be second. 0.375 will be third. And then 0.73 will be fourth. Again, changing the decimals. Make sure they have the same amount of decimal places by adding zeros at the end. And then you can, now also make sure you read it carefully. Sometimes they put from lowest to highest. Sometimes they put from highest to lowest. Make sure of that.
Isn't this one of the first 5?
This is one of the first 5. Usually this is one of the first 5.
You can't use your calculator?
You cannot use your calculator. Oh, good point. I'm glad you said that. Okay, so now, can't use your calculator. Good point. Okay, so if you know 3/8 is 0.125, oops, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Hold on. Let me erase that. If you know 1/8 is 0.125, and this is why I say that's one of the suggestions I give you in the ebook is to know all your fractions, your common fractions and their decimal equivalents. Because if I know 1/8 is 0.125, that means I'm just multiplying 0.125 times 3. So 3/8 is 0.375. 0.003 is already decimal. 0.13 is already a decimal. And you should know how to change 73% to a decimal by moving it 2 places to the left in 0.73. How about that? Did I answer your question, sir? Very good. Okay. Let me save that. And let me clear it.
Are these called ordering fractions?
Well, it's ordering fractions, decimals, and percents.
Okay.
So if you notice, I gave you fractions, I gave you decimals, and I gave you percents. I wanted to give you every type so you know how to change into a decimal and then compare them together.
Okay.
And it's usually one of your first 5 on your exam. Okay, I'm glad you said that, Patrick, because I also want to show this other common missed problem for the first 5. Let me see if I can find it. I want to put the name on here. There we go, right there. Let me increase the zoom to that. There we go. Oops, that was a little bit too much. And let me see if I can move this over just a little bit. Let me see if I can move this. Oops, I can't move it over. Here we go. Okay. This is also one of the first 5. They almost always will have something and will have the word undefined. There are 2 reasons why a expression can be undefined. Either the square root of a negative number, or if the denominator is 0. For your intents and purposes, that's what undefined is. So if they give you a negative square root, you know that's undefined. But they haven't been given that for a while. What they have been doing is this second option, where the denominator is 0. So in this question, it says, what values would make the following function undefined? So if you see that word undefined, immediately, you don't even have to worry about what the numerator is. What you're looking at is the denominator. So let me change my color back to red. So we're worrying about the denominator, x times x minus 3. So what values of x would make that 0? So one way is you could just plug the answers in. If you don't know how to do it, they give you multiple choice. You could plug them in. What do I mean by that? Just go like this. Hold on, let me clear some of this out. Let me say this first. Let me clear some of this out. Let me move this out the way.
Isn't this another first 5 though?
This is another first 5. So that's why I said thank you, Patrick, because you want to start off strong. Okay, so let me make this calculator a little bit bigger so we can all see it. Let me clear it. A lot of adult educators don't think the first 5 are important. The reason why I think the first 5 is important, because if you start this exam and you get the first 5 right, how's your confidence? Are you feeling confident if you get the first 4 or 5 wrong?
Yes.
You say you're going to feel confident?
If the first 5 are right,
If they right. So if you get them wrong, though, what happens is you're going into the exam not sure of yourself. So to me, I implore you to go over that ebook. I go over whole sections just for the first 5. Now watch this. So let me see this problem. Again, you got the multiple choice. Again, it says undefined. I'm only looking at the denominator. So guess what? Minus 5, store x. And then I'm gonna plug that in. X times x minus 3. Do I get 0?
No.
No. So you go to the next one. Minus 3, store x. Oops. Minus 3, store x. Enter. X times x minus 3. Hit enter. Do I get 0?
Nope.
No.
The answer is 3.
The answer is 3. So 3, store x. I'm going to go back up into my formula again. I'm going to hit enter. Do I get 0? Yes. The question is, what you have to understand is most people stop when they get the answer of 3. The thing you want to look at is when you look at that denominator, how many times that you see x? 1, 2. So this has 2 answers, not just 1. So let me go to the last multiple choice. 0. 0, store x. Enter. I'm going to go back up to my expression. I'm going to hit enter, and I also get 0. So this answer is 2 answers. It's 3 and 0. Okay? Again, what I want you to look for is that word undefined. That tells you that your denominator cannot be equal to 0. Now, the easiest way to do this is do this. If you know what this means x times x minus 3. So if x was 0, you already know 0 times anything is equal to 0. So you know that's an answer. And then if you've been in my class long enough, you should know, as you look in these parentheses, the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. There's your second answer, 0 and plus 3. That problem should take you 20 seconds on the exam. 20 seconds, because you should see right away. Now, what if they give you something like this? It doesn't matter. Just understand what it is. So they might have x squared minus x squared. I'm just making this up. Minus 5x plus 3. And then the denominator, they might have x times x minus 3, x plus 5. So again, if you see that word undefined, it's either with the square root is negative or the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So then the second thing you're going to look at, how many x's do I have in the denominator? 3. So I need to have 3 different answers for x. 0, the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. The opposite of plus 5 is minus 5. So these will be the 3 answers that would make this undefined. Very easy. Got to get that right. So it's out of every 3 GED exams, out of every 4 GED exam, undefined is on 3 of them. So you have to be ready for that. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Let me move the calculator out the way. Any more questions before we move on? Put this back over here. Oops. Anybody had anything they've been working on and need some assistance with? Okay, good. All right, so.
I do.
Okay, and who said I do? I'm sorry.
Nikita,
How you doing, Nikita?
I'm doing good. I'm actually working on equations and equalities.
Inequalities.
Yeah, equalities. It's a problem on here that I'm confused. It says, what is the equation of a line with a slope of -4 that passes through the point 1 and 2?
Equation of a line that has a slope of what?
-4.
And passes through what?
1 and 2. The point 1 and 2.
Okay. And I've been voicing this every week that I've had this class. This is a guaranteed problem on your exam. It is a guaranteed problem on your exam. What is the equation of the line that has a slope of -4 and passes through the point 1, 2? So now, it's not going to be the specific problem. We know that. But it's going to be a question where they give you the slope and they give you a point. Okay, so I'm gonna show you 2 ways. First, I'm gonna do it manually, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it using the calculator.
Okay.
Okay, so let me change it to red. This is a guaranteed problem. So first of all, what is the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line? Does anybody know?
Y equals mx plus b.
Okay, that's the first thing you have to know. You need to commit that to memory. The slope-intercept form of an equation of a line is y equal mx plus b. The second thing you have to know is that the variable that's synonymous with slope is m.
Okay.
Okay. The second thing you have to know, what they gave you is they gave you a point. You have to know every point is given x comma y. So when they give you that point, they're telling you what x is, they're telling you what y is. You understand that? So now all we're going to do is plug those values in. So y is what?
2.
2. M is what?
-4.
X is what?
1.
Plus b. We don't know what b is. So now we're going to simplify it. 2 is equal to -4 plus b. How are we going to get the b all by itself?
That I don't know. That's why I need.
Switch -4 to other side. It will be 4. 2 plus 4 equals 6.
Right. So what she said was this is a one-step equation. So anytime you have a one-step equation and you're trying to get the variable b all by itself, that means you must get rid of the -4. In order to get rid of something, you have to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of -4 is +4. And then who was that again? What's your name again?
Nikita.
No, not Nikita, the one who told us to put +4 on both sides.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we add 4, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So what your peer said is 2 plus 4 is 6. The 4 is canceled, and we got b is equal to 6. So we know our slope is -4. We know our y-intercept is -6. 6. So all we doing is plugging those back into this equation. So y equal -4x plus 6.
Can I get a copy of this right here?
Right. So make sure I have your email, and I send a copy of the video so you can watch it. And
Okay.
I send screenshots too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is a guaranteed problem on the exam. On every single exam, they're gonna give you one where they give you the point and the slope. Guaranteed problem. Guaranteed. Anybody else? Anybody else had a problem with something that they struggle with during the week?
How would you put this into a calculator?
I did not say I was going to do that. I forgot. I apologize. How do you put that into a calculator? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything out the way except for the point and the slope. So let me erase first. Let me erase all of this. Actually, I can just clear it. The point is 1, 2. So the slope was -4. Hold on, let me get my pen. The slope is -4, and the point was 1, 2, right? So, and I'm sorry, let me put this on the screen. Again, it's a guaranteed problem, and watch this. I'm going to show you how to do it on that calculator. Let me make this a little bit. There we go. Let me clear that out the way. Let me move this. So when you get this, you'll be able to pause the recording, and then you can walk through step by step how we did it. Okay, let me clear everything off the calculator. Let me clear everything out. Okay, so slope is -4, and the point is 1, 2. So the first thing you have to realize what the slope is. So the slope is -4, which is -4 over 1. Does everybody understand why I put it over 1? To change any whole number to an improper fraction, you can just put it over 1. Everybody understand that, right? But what you should also understand is that slope is the change in y over the change in x. Does everybody understand that? Now, watch this. I'm going to show you a nice little trick. So Patrick and Nikita, I'm glad you asked this question. So look at this, what it says. It says, my change in y is going to change by -4. Watch this. So my first point was 1, 2. If my y changes by -4, watch this. Let me change this back to blue now. I'm put this -4. 2 minus 4 is -2. Is -2. My y changed by -4. So 2 minus 4 is -2. My x is going to change by 1. So my x is going to change by 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So now I have my second point. This is my first point. This is my first point. This is my second point. Because what you have to remember is the slope is a constant rate of change. So you can use the slope to get your second point. So that's all we did. We changed our y by -4. We changed our x by +1. Does everybody understand that? Now, this is where it's easy. Watch this. You plug it right in your calculator. Data. Oops, I got to clear that out. Got to clear it out. I'm sorry. Let me clear it again. So my first point is 1. 1, 2. So on this calculator in the first column, I need to put my x's. So my x's are 1 and 2. So 1, enter, 2, enter. Hit my right arrow, I need to put my y's in. 2, enter, -2, enter. So if you look on the calculator, you should see your 2 points. 1, 2, and 2 minus 2. Then if you got my ebook and you practicing, this is 5 seconds. Second, data, to variable, calculate. And then you scroll down until you find lowercase a and lowercase b. Look at that, Patrick. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. So my equation is y equal minus 4x plus 6. No work to do. Let the calculator do the work for you. And listen, this same method can be used if they give you 2 points. It can be used if they give you a point in a slope. So if you know how to do this on your calculator, that's 2 questions on your exam already. That's another 2 questions on your exam already. Those 2 are guaranteed. They're going to give you a point in the slope, or they're going to give you 2 points. Now you know how to do both of them in your calculator without doing using any scrap paper. You can just plug it in. So spend the time on the section of my book, linear equations, because that's between 6 and 10 problems. I'm telling you, it's a lovely thing. It's a lovely, lovely thing. I'm telling you. Okay, let me move the calculator out the way. Oops. Any other questions? Thank you, Patrick, for reminding me. Thank you for Nikita. And I forget who helped us with that problem. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? You got 12 people in the house tonight. You better stop playing. Woo, woo, woo. You tell me all these people we got here will have no more questions?
Well, we can do the order of the following from least to greatest and the
Say that one more time.
fractions, decimal, and percent. We can do that if you want to.
Yeah, that's just changing the decimals and then putting them in order. That's the first thing we did. That's
okay. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, that's one of your first 5. So, like for example, let me see if I got the study guide open. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
This is that 3. It's the 3/4, the 3/2, the 7, the 0.007, the 7.5, and the 55%.
All right, we'll do that one. Say it to me. Give it to.
If you want to do that.
Okay, hold on. Let me find my pencil. For some reason, my toggle bar keeps disappearing. Give me those again. You said 3/2.
It's 3/4.
3/4.
0.7.
0.7.
0.007.
0.007.
7.5.
7.5. All right.
And 55%.
And 55%. Oh, I gave you a whole bunch of them. Wow. This is from me? Really wanted to see if you knew it. Okay, so again, change them all to decimals. So what's 3.5? What's 3/2 as a decimal? Anybody know? What is 3/2 as a decimal?
It's 0.75.
Nope, not 3/2.
1.5.
1.5. Now, what you were talking about was 3/4. That's 0.75.
Hold on.
That's already a decimal. 0.7, that's already a decimal. 0.007, that's already a decimal. What is 55% as a decimal?
0.55.
0.55. Okay. So now you look at the one that has the most decimal places. Okay. This has 3 decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all of them have 3 decimal places. So we're going to add 2 here, 2 zeros here. We're going to add 1 0 here. We're going to add 2 zeros here. We're going to add 2 zeros here. We're going to add 1 0 here. And now it should be very easy to see which one is bigger, right? So the smallest is 0.007. So that will be first. 7, that's the number 7. Easy. Let's go next. What's next? 550 is next. So that would be second. 700 is third. 750 is fourth. 1.5 or 1500 is fifth. And then the last one is 7.5. That's all you got to do. Changing the decimals.
But I'm still confused about when do you add the zeros and where do you add them?
Okay,
About
so,
the-
okay, so perfect. So let me save this real quick and let me hit undo. Let me hit undo. Wonderful question. Let me take all the black zeros off. So when you look at these, when you look at these numbers, if you notice, this only has one, the first one, 1.5, only has one decimal place. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand
Yes.
that?
Yes.
0.75 has two decimal places. You understand that?
Yes.
0.7 only has one decimal place. But when you get to 0.007, what you notice is that has three decimal places. So you want to find the decimal that has the most decimal places. So in this case, 0.007 has three decimal places. So what you're going to do is you're going to add zeros until each number has three decimal places. So for 1.5, I need to add how many zeros?
2.
2. For 0.75, how many zeros do I have to add?
1.
1. 0.7, how many zeros do I have to add?
2.
2. That already has 3. 7.5, I need to add 2. And 0.55, I need to add 1. Then you look at them as whole numbers. So now you got 1,500, 750, 700, 7, 7,500, and 550. You can ignore the decimal places. Once you, if you're comparing, once you make sure, add those zeros, now you can ignore the decimal points. So now 7 would be first, 700 would be second, 750 third. Oops, I skipped. Oops, I skipped. Oops. 7 is first, 550 is second, 700 is third, 750 is fourth, 1,500 is fifth, 7,500 is sixth. Got me?
Yes.
Good.
How can we get more practice with converting fractions into decimals? Because that's my problem with converting them into decimals.
So since this is, like Patrick said, this is one of the first 5. So what I would recommend is just knowing the most common fractions. I would commit these to memory, just like your square and your square roots. Oops, I'm running out of room here. I put 1/10 over here. So 1/2 is 0.5, 1/3 is 0.33, 1/4 is 0.25, 1/5 is 0.2, 1/8 is 0.125, 1/9 is 0.11, 1/10 is 0.1. Now, say you don't know it. Say you can't remember it. Doesn't matter. Use your calculator. Your calculator is your friend. So 1 divided by 2, 0.5. 1 divided by 3, 0.33. Now, I would rather you use the calculator this way. Oops, this way. Put it as a fraction. Hit ND, 1/2. Hit your double arrows above your enter to convert and hit enter. Give you decimal. So that's all in the first couple lessons of my book. How to do all that. How to turn, like you can turn fractions to improper fractions. You can turn improper fractions to mixed numbers. For example, 5 2/3. Okay, this may be one of your first 5. How to change it to an improper fraction? 2 times 10 to the n, 17/3. Now you use this because this is the first, you can't use your calculator in the first 5, but you use your calculator to make sure you know how to do it. So when you get them, they're easy.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this calculator is your friend. I'm telling you, after this, you might name your calculator. I'm telling you. What else? Anybody else?
Yes. How do you move the word answer in the calculator? I have the calculator here.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is what this calculator can do. This calculator can use your previous answer. What do I mean by that? So for example, if I put 5 times 4 is 20. And then I want to multiply that 20 by 3. All I have to do is do times 3. It will automatically put what I chose before automatically in. So if you start with an operator, it will put your previous answer from the calculator. Now, if I want to multiply that 20 times 3, I can't hit times first. I could just say, okay, 3 times, and then I can put my answer. That answer is in green, second, and answer. And see, my last answer was 60. So 3 times 60 is 180. So as long as you don't hit an operator next, so this is why I've been showing answer for you, Darlene, is because what you've been trying to do is you hit this minus sign first. If you want -3, if you want to put -3, you need to hit this negative next to enter first.
Oh, -3.
And then that's just -3. So anytime you put an operator first, it will select the previous answer from that calculator. If you choose any operator. Okay, so when you want to do an expression that starts with a negative, so you have to remember this. If you start any expression with a negative, so for example, -x². If it starts with a negative, you must use this negative sign next to enter. You can't use the subtraction sign. If you use a subtraction sign, it's going to put that answer up.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Oh, I know this calculator like the back of my hand. I'm telling, I already know. I already know. All right. Anything next? All right.
This is a lot.
I want to show you another problem people have been getting wrong. Okay. So people call me after they take the exam, and this person did pass, but said, Mr. Tinsley, when I got to quadratic equation, they had these real funky answers as the multiple choice, and I couldn't put them in. Yes, you can. You can put any multiple choice answer in. So I want you to look at this problem right here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. It says, use the quadratic formula to solve this quadratic equation. Okay, you can't factor it because the factors of 4 no factors of 4 will give you 8. So you can't factor this problem. Okay, so
what does factor mean?
Okay, what does factor mean? So let me pause there and show you what a factor. Does anybody know what a factor is? Can somebody tell me what a factor is? Okay, so that's first of all. Let's make sure we understand the mathematical terminology. So all a factor is an expression that goes into another number evenly. For example, the factors of 12 are 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 because they go evenly into 12. When you have a quadratic equation, for example, hold on. Let me move this out the way. I don't know why. I'm having problems with my Zoom today. X squared, let me make one up. Let's do minus 15. So plus 2x minus 15. So first of all, how do you know is this a quadratic equation or not? Because it's raised to the second power. If you're solving a quadratic equation, one of the ways you can solve a quadratic equation is to factor it. Okay, how do you factor a quadratic equation? Hold on, Mr. Tense, I thought you said a factor is the example you gave us was numbers that go evenly into 12. Well, any number that can be anything that can be multiplied by something else to get an answer is a factor. So what can I multiply together? All right, so we look at this. So what we know is the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So my a is 1, my b is 2, my c is minus 15. So all I did was whatever's in front of the x squared is my a, whatever's in front of my x is my b, whatever's left is my c equals negative 15. So to factor this quadratic equation, let me change back to red, is you look at the factors of C. So what numbers can I multiply together to get negative 15? So we got 1 times negative 15, 3 times negative 5. Now, on the other side, we're going to change the signs. We're going to change the signs of both these numbers. So instead of positive 1, we're going to have negative 1. Instead of negative 15, we're going to have positive 15. Instead of positive 3, we're going to have negative 3. And instead of negative 5, we're going to have positive 5. These are the factors of negative 15. Numbers that can be multiplied together. These are factor pairs. This is very important. You should know how to factor quadratic equations. So we factored negative 15. So we looked at C. Now, when do you use that? When A is equal to 1. If A is equal to 1, the first thing I want you to do to solve a quadratic equation is to see if you can factor it. So we have our factor pairs. So the next step is which pair is going to give you B. So if you combine them, which pair is going to give you a positive 2? Well, 5 minus 3 is 2. This is the easiest way to factor quadratic equation. So you just take these two numbers here, x minus 3 times x plus 5. This is multiplication. So I'm multiplying x minus 3 times x plus 5. So x minus 3 is a factor and x plus 5 is a factor. These are factors, right? Now, when you factor a quadratic equation, you use that to solve it. And that's called finding your zeros. Find then zeros. So what value of x would make this 0? So x minus 3, x plus 5. We should all know that anything times 0 is what?
0.
0. So what value of x that I could put in the x right here would make this 0? So the opposite of minus 3 is what?
3.
Plus 3 or 3. What's the opposite of plus 5?
Minus 5.
Minus 5.
Negative.
So this would be the solutions to this quadratic equation. Plus 3 and minus 5. That's a whole lot of work. Okay, that's a whole lot of work to solve it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you use your multiple choice, when you get a quadratic equation, you can plug them in to the equation. What do you mean by that, Mr. Tinsley? I'm gonna make this simple for you. Watch this. Let me clear the screen. I'm gonna keep that original equation up. X squared plus 2x minus 15. Watch this. We already solved it. Watch this. So we already know the answers are 3 and negative 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say you had your multiple choice and you had A was x is equal to, x is 3 and 5. X could be 3, let's not use 3 because I already get the answer. So minus 3 and 5. And then C is plus 3 and 5 and minus 5. And then D could be minus 3 and minus 5. Instead of going through all that work to solve this quadratic equation, what you have to understand is they just gave you the possible answers. They gave them to you all. All you have to do, let me move this out the way. Let me move some of this out the way here. Is then grab your calculator and plug them in. Anytime you got an equation on here and they give you multiple choice, that means whatever's on the left side got to be equal to whatever's on the right side. So, for example, let me give you an example. X squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. That is the standard form of quadratic equation. So my first answer, A, says x is 3. So that means I'm going to put a 3 in here. 3 squared plus 2 times 3 minus 15, is that equal to 0? So we got 9 plus 6 minus 15 equals 0. 15 minus 15 equals 0. 0 equals 0. So that means positive 3 is a solution to this quadratic equation. So you know right away, it's not B, it's not D. Because you plug that in, and do I get the same thing on the other side of that equation? Now, again, that's a whole lot of work. This is why the calculator, if you don't understand that this calculator is your friend to pass this test, I don't know what to tell you. Watch this. Now, instead of doing all that work, watch this. Clear it. X is 3. 3, store X, enter. I'm going to put in my quadratic equation. X squared plus 2X minus 15. Do I get 0? Yes. I'm done. I know 3 is a possible answer. So I go to my second one, 5. 5, store X. X squared plus 2X minus 15. Do I get 0?
No.
No. Therefore, I know it's not A. The only answer I have left, C. I'm done. 30 seconds. You have to learn how to use this calculator. I will show you how to eliminate 5 minutes to solving a quadratic equation to using your calculator. So this is where we got, because I looked at this example, and again, out of 9 people, not one person got this problem right. Not one single person. Because they didn't know what to do. What is that saying? Oh my God. Ooh, look at this B. Wow. Watch this. So it's 2 ways you can do this problem. Okay. So first of all, let me maximize this. Let me write this X minus 4. So it's 2 ways you can do that, right? What I would do is this. This is me personally. Watch this. I'm going to show you magic. First of all, let me maximize this first. So we could take a screenshot of this. So if you wanted to go back, you can see everything that we did here. Let me see if I can get it all up. I can get it all on the screen. So let me take a screenshot of this first. And let's do this new problem. Watch this. So let me clear everything out the way. Let me clear this. Let me clear this out the way. Watch this. And I'm gonna put it in lately. They're giving you the answers. So first of all, what you notice is if you see this sign right here, this plus minus, that means there's 2 options. That means you got 4 plus 2 square root of 5 and 4 minus 2 square root of 5. When you see that plus minus, because remember, quadratic equations can have up to 2 solutions. Okay, so now watch this. Instead of doing all that quadratic work, watch this. 4 plus 2 square root of 5. Store X, enter. And I'm gonna plug it in to my quadratic equation, minus 8 and 4. X squared minus 8x minus 4. Let me make sure I minus 8 in my, yep. Do I get 0? Yes, I do. So I know right away 4 plus the 2 square root of 5 is an answer. So right away, I know my answer could be A or it could be D. But it can't be B, it can't be C. Because I know one of the solutions is 4 plus 2 square root of 5. So now, okay, let me use my minus. Let me save this. Let me save it. Let me clear the screen. Let me erase this here. And then we're going to put our second multiple choice or our second one from A. Okay, 4 minus 2 square root of 5. Store X, enter. And then we're going to plug that in to our equation. X squared minus 8x minus 4. Oops, minus 4. Do we get 0?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So we know our answer is A. There you go. Now, that's the easy way. That's to give you the multiple choice. So let me move the calculator and let me show you how you would solve this quadratic equation by hand. And it's going to take forever. This is why. If you learn how to use this calculator, I'm going to save you time. So remember, ax squared plus bx plus c. So A is 1, B is -8, C is -4. On your formula sheet, this is what they expect you to do. This is a 5 to 7 minute problem. So I'm gonna show you two. Watch this. So minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. What, Mr. Tinsley? Are you kidding me? It's on your formula sheet. That's called the quadratic formula. This A, B, and C's come from your equation. So once you identify A, B, and C, all you're doing is plugging them in. So minus B is minus, and B is -8. Plus or minus, again, B squared, so -8 squared. All we doing is plugging it in. Minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -4. All over 2 times A. A is 1, so 2 times 1. 2 negatives make a positive, so we get 8. Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, but you were doing the whole the A answer thing, but it says he got A wrong.
Say that again.
Earlier, before you started showing us this the quadratic formula, you solved the problem and you said it was A,
Mm-hmm.
but it says he got A wrong.
Yeah, that
A
might
is
be
not
the
the
mistake.
answer.
Let's see right here. Let's see. So +8 plus or minus the square root of -8 squared is 64. 2 negatives make a positive, so +16 over 2. So so let's solve it first. And if I made a mistake, then because I made all these problems in like a 2-week period. So it might be some mistakes, but we'll check it out. So usually I do go over them, but I'll check it out. So watch this. 8 plus or minus 64 plus 16 is 80 over 2. I'm gonna have to move over here. I'm running out of room. So again, as I explained to you earlier, Patrick, when we're breaking down a square root, you want to find the highest square. So this is the same as 8 plus or minus the square root of 16 times the square root of 5 over 2. This is equal to 8 plus or minus 4 times the square root of 5 over 2. 2 can go into 8 4 times. 2 can go into 4 2 times. Oops, let me move that out the way. Let me move that down. So 2 can go into 8 4 times, plus or minus, and then 2 can go into 4 2 times. So your answer, the correct answer, is 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 5. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Listen to what I'm telling you right now. Listen, do not forget. If you get this problem, flag it for review and skip it. Why? It is not worth the 5 to 7 minutes that you're going to need to solve it. So if you don't know how to solve it on your calculator, I would flag it for review and skip it. And then once I finish the exam, then I will come back to a problem like this. This takes too long. This takes too long. Now, again, watch this. So let me save that. You see how long that took me, right? Now, again, so Patrick, this is, because I know you've been working with the calculator too. Watch this. Let me show you something. Watch this. 1 store A minus 8 store B minus 4, store C. Now, watch this. I'm gonna make this nice and big so everybody can see it. Now, remember that same problem that we just spent 5 minutes on, right? Watch this. Minus B plus the square root of B squared minus 4AC. Again, this is in my book. It'll save you a numerous amount of time. It just take you about a day to practice. Look at that. I just put the quadratic formula in my calculator. Watch this. Watch what happens when I hit enter. I'm done. My first answer is 2 square root of 5 plus 4. But remember, the quadratic formula is plus or minus. So what you have to do is you have to go back into that equation and change the plus to a minus. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to use my arrows to go into my formula and change that plus sign to subtraction, and then I get my second answer. So my answer would be 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 5, less than a minute. So that's the ways you can either plug the answers in, storing the values in your calculator, or you can actually put the quadratic formula in. Either way, but to me, this is my personal opinion. If you see, hold on, let me move this out the way. Hold on. If you see, and if you're not familiar with solving a quadratic equation, like so Patrick, you were right. This answer is wrong. The answer is A. And this person answered A. So I have to correct that. So what I'll do is I'll correct it right now. Watch this. Hold on. I'm going to correct it right now. So when I find a mistake, so this is what I do in the one-on-one. So after you take your practice test, I go over every mistake you made. But when you give me the test, I change it, and now that's correct. Whoever score that was, that score now changed. So then all the problems this person may have gotten wrong or didn't understand, then we'll go through it, because these are actually full-length GED problems, 40 questions. Okay? So again, but on something like this, where you see all them crazy answers like this, I would be very wary to wasting my time doing that problem. I would skip it, flag it for review, finish the exam first, then come back to it. Now, what I'm also telling you, do not leave any answer blank. So what that means is you could pick an answer, but still flag it for review. So if you're running out of time, don't leave anything blank. Just pick a letter. Say, for example, you have 5 left and you got 5 minutes left. Just pick a letter, make them all that letter. Why? Because at least you got a chance to get 1 or 2 right. If you leave them all blank, how many did you get right? Not 1.
Not 1.
Okay, so make sure. If it's a difficult problem, you think you're going to spend time on it, flag it for review, skip it and flag it for review. Make sure you do not leave any answer blank. Listen, I don't care. I don't know it. No, A, in test. Go to each one you skip. You don't know how to do A. Make them all, whatever. It don't matter what letter you pick. Just pick the all same letter for each one. Why? Because check this out. If there's A, B, C, D, and you have 5 problems left, if you leave them all blank, you're getting 5 wrong. If you pick A, and there's only 4 multiple choice, at least one of these are going to be A. Why? Because a standardized exam has to have an equal distribution. That means you can't use, like on a standardized exam, D can't be the answer for 80% of the problems. And then A is 5%, C is 5%. No, they have to be close to each other. So all of them are going to be about 25%. So therefore, you got 5 problems that you didn't answer. Pick a letter. I don't care what the letter is. Make all of them that same thing. Now, the second question I'm going to tell you. Say, for example, you have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. For 15, you answered A. For 16, you left it blank. 17, you left it blank. 18, you left it blank. 19, you left it blank. 20, you had A again, right? So if I'm looking at these right here, I already got 2 A's. I'm not picking another A. Why? Because that would throw the standardized assessment off. So I'm gonna either pick B, C, or D. I'm gonna pick all of them B since I skipped them. Or C, or D. But I ain't gonna pick A because I need, but these 6 problems I have left, I already picked A for 2 of them. So again, just pick a letter. If you don't know the answer, don't leave anything blank. Pick a letter, make them all that letter, keep it moving. That's my advice. I'm telling you. Been doing this for a while. I can't believe time went this fast. Wow. Let me see if any of one's on this one that we can go over real quick. Oh, that's right. All right. Nope, that's right. Another person got one in order wrong. Again, make these zeros. So this has 3 decimal places. This has 3 decimal places. This has 1 decimal place. I'm gonna add a 0. I'm gonna add a 0. Here, this only has 2 decimal places. I'm gonna add a 0. So if I need to put these in order, 375 is first, 0.4 is second, 402 is next, 3, 420 or 0.42 is fourth. That's how you put them in order. One of your first 5. All right. Just time with that. Any questions before we leave this evening? Any more questions before we leave this evening? Time went super, super fast. And I appreciate it. It's a whole, but it's like 12 people in the building tonight. So give yourself a hand. And I did order. I did talk to the printer. He is back open. I'll be able to get the hard copy to go. I just had to upload to his site and then connect my website to his printer, his printing business. So I'm working on that now. As anybody who wanted the hardback book, but
Yes, I want the hardback book.
okay. So the printer should be available fairly soon. I'll probably talking with him again tomorrow.
It's a book.
Do I have to buy it?
Yeah. So again, it's the eBook and the physical book. The physical book is way more. So that's why, I give you the physical book and the eBook. Listen, this is what you should probably be doing. And let me show you real quick. This is what you should be doing. Download that PDF to your computer and you're going to open it up just like I did here on the screen. And you're going to have your calculator right there with you. And you're going to read through it. You're going to see the different forms, how I work through it. So when you get to these examples here, all you're doing is having that calculator in front of you and you plugging it in so you can see how to do that problem. So each way I tell you step by step and what you should see on that calculator. So basically all you're doing is having it on screen. So have your laptop, have your calculator, and then read and follow along. And then I got practice problems to make sure you understand each concept. So you really don't need the hardback, but some people like it that way. But if you have a laptop or a tablet, so for people that just have phones, it's very hard. Okay, so what I would do is I would download it. What I would do, because I put an expiration date on the link. So after like 5 downloads or 10 days, you can't open it up anymore. So if that has happened to you, it's been a while since you opened it and you didn't download it to your computer, let me know. I can change that expiration date. But what I would do is I would download it to my computer. Now, if you bought it and you only got a phone, what you can do is download it to your phone, to your drive on your phone, your Google Drive on your phone. That way, anywhere you go, you'll be able to access it through your Google Drive, no matter where you are. So if you had a friend's house, you had a computer lab, you got your parents' house, you can still be able to open it up and get what you need to get done. But again, what I would have recommended and why I called it GED Math in 30 days, is take that ebook first 2 weeks, go through the whole book, do the practice problems, do a practice test, schedule your one-on-ones. You'll be done by the end of the month. You'll pass your math. Simple. All right. Any questions before we leave tonight? Any last questions?
How much will the actual book cost?
I think I made it $40 or something like that. But Patrick, you're gonna be done soon. You'll be taking your test soon. You just don't know it yet, but you're gonna be tested soon.
Yeah, I
You
know. My sister's trying to schedule it.
Yeah, you won't need that book for the long. You already passed it, so.
No, I want it.
I
I
need
want to give it
that
to
book.
someone.
I want
Okay.
everything I can get.
It's funny because I had a student. She passed her exam. She was like, Mrs. Tinsley, I want the book. I want the book. So I emailed. I said, you passed your exam. Why do you need the book? She said, listen, I took this exam 7 times. I can't send a PDF because you got an expiration date. So I want to buy the book and give it to my friend. So, I mean, everybody got different, but same thing you said, Patrick. So, again, I've talked to my printer yesterday. I'll be trying to make that connection between my website and his printer, the publisher. And then once that's done, I'll be able to, when you click on it, it'll go right to him and then sent out right from the printer instead of, it's automatically done. So I just got to reconnect my web interface in the printing shop. Any other questions before we leave?
No, thank you.
No.
Okay, so remember if you're preparing for a test soon, use my free website and go to those practice exams. Okay, so every example that we worked on tonight came from the practice tests on my site. Okay, so they're free. They're not gonna cost you anything. You don't have to keep spending $3, $6 on the practice test. I got 5 of them. You can take each of them 5 times. So
What
even if
is
you
your
only
site? What is your website?
Okay, so what happens is you got to go, the free course is on this site here. I made it on this site here, Schoology. So if you go into your email, you should see where I say free GED math course. And when you
Okay.
log in, I give you the access code. And when you log in, you'll see GED math in 30 days. Of course, I got other classes here because I teach other classes, but this one right here, GED math in 30 days. And then you can access all of the practice tests right here. I mean, I got much more stuff under here, but these are your practice exams right here. And as I was explaining, you got 5 of them. And as I was explaining earlier, you can also practice on individual concepts. So for example, sign numbers and absolute value, scientific notation, probability. So if you just wanted to work on a specific subject without taking the whole entire practice test, simplifying radicals, Pythagorean theorem. So you can work on specific areas that you think you need help on too. Quadratic equations. So if you have problems with quadratic equations, I got 10 to 15 practice problems that you can just work on just in that section. Okay. And it doesn't cost you anything. Once you buy the book, this is all free for you. All right. Any last questions? Okay.
No.
Everybody have a good evening. If you are new tonight, make sure you send me your email in the chat so I can send you a copy of tonight's lesson. So if you're new, make sure I have your email in the chat so I can send you a copy of tonight's lesson, tonight's session. Okay?
Mr. Tinsley, I was hoping to speak to you after this is over, either on the phone or
All
in
right,
here.
bye, everyone.
Okay, no problem.
Hi.
So Patrick, you hold on. Everybody have a good evening. Let me stop sharing and let me stop recording.